Good evening everyone and welcome along to PSGL. We are here for F3 action. It is season 30, round 12 of the championship for F3, and it is the Singapore Grand Prix from the Marina Bay Street Circuit. Not to be confused, of course, in my commentaries with the Yas Marina Street Circuit that I called back here last time I did Singapore. Good evening though, I'm James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream as always here on a Monday night, and joining me in the commentary box, it is Mr. Otaku Logan. Logan, how you doing?
Good evening, sorry I missed last week. Someone called me to work, said, hey, get this stuff done for me right now or you're fired, so I did it. But yes, we are here at the Yas Marina. Oh, sugar, I made the same mistake you did last time. But, Marina Bay Street Circuit on the coast of Singapore, which is a massive country, a small country with a massive population. 5 million, is it? I know it's very small. It's just like Hong Kong, but is a little different. Of course, they speak English here, not Chinese. Well, they actually do speak Chinese here, but English is mainly spoken. Here in Singapore, a population of just around the same as Scotland, 5.4 million. And all fitting in to 733 kilometers squared, square kilometers. It's a country that, funnily enough, did not want independence, but got it anyway. That is a fact. It got independence from Malaysia against their will, and yet they didn't do anything about it. But yes, the circuit, meanwhile, has been on the calendar since 2008, with the exception of 2020 and 2021, obvious reasons, because it missed the calendar. But yes, 23 turns in all, and we're going to be doing 31 laps of this track, 5 kilometers, but it is one of the longer races in the calendar, and if you've watched real racing, they usually run out of time at the 2-hour mark before they complete all the laps, because it's such a long time to get around this course.
It definitely is, and it's obviously one of the longest tracks that we're going to be commentating on, of course, this season, if not the longest track, and the longest race we're probably going to be commentating on this season as well. But coming into tonight in Singapore, Rudy, of course, has taken 3 wins on the bounce in his home country of north of the Netherlands, Brazil and Mexico, and he now leads the championship by 2 points over Matthew, who, of course, is promoted to F2. So Rudy leading the way on 81 points, Matthew in second on 79 points, Nuth in third on 60. We were going through championship permutations, none here tonight, but the best scenario that Rudy can have is outscore Nuth DNFs, Rudy wins the race. That is his best hope, of course, of going into Austin mathematically to try and pick up the championship win next week. Cameron Dead's in 4th, also moved up on 56 points, Ron in 5th on 49, Joey in 6th on 46, Will Murdoch 7th on 44, then a tie for 8th between Izza and Marlon there on 8th on 40 points, and Menno, and Cortez even in 10th on 35 points. He's been really performing quite well in recent weeks. And then, of course, we've got Menno, DV19, Batuxan, Maras, Trinity ran off the top 15, Marcados, Aroka, Denzel, Dutch Missile and Rexig ran off the top 20, Hyper Funky Chicken, Lewis, Dan, Spreen, Ferens, Isu have all scored points, Maledictus, Julian, Karem, Namsko, Jacopo and Grosso, who was due to make his debut tonight, but for obvious reasons, he has been taken out of the PSGL lineup. Not going to go into details of anything here. You can read, of course, on Twitter about that. But Rudy leading the way, 2 points. Best thing he can hope for, obviously, is outscore Nuth by around 18 points, I think. Obviously, coming into tonight, he's got a 21-point advantage. It is looking quite good for Rudy to wrap up the championship now.
Yes, it does. He could possibly wrap it up next week in Austin, but that is, of course, if he can perform well here and there. We're just about to get started, folks. We've got 15 drivers in the lineup tonight. Will Murdoch there, the Dutch Missile, Marlon, of course Rudy, our championship leader, a new driver, Yogurt, making his debut tonight, I do believe, amongst the myriad of drivers in the lineup tonight, as we prepare to go racing at the circuit that hosts the first ever night race back in 2008, and we all know what happened there. We don't want to talk about it because it meant that Massa probably lost the title and Alonso shouldn't have won. But anyways, let's get going, shall we?
Let's get going indeed. 23 quarters, of course, awaiting the drivers out on track around this 5-kilometre circuit, 3.1 mile. And of course, the capital of Singapore is Singapore. If you guessed that right, well done.
Really?
It is. It's called
Really?
Singapore.
I actually thought it was the Singapore sling.
It is a Singapore thing. And speaking of the Singapore thing, that is, I think, the Singapore thing. That's certainly on my camera angle anyways. There it is, just coming through turn number 10, of course. They reprofiled, of course, from a chicane just for a flat left-hander now coming through turn number 11. And that, of course, brings you on to the Anderson Bridge. And we'll try and pinpoint a few little pinpoints around the circuit. I know Singapore quite well. I've actually commentated around here so many times, so I know some of the corners off by heart, which is good. But, obviously, getting off in towards qualifying, the first thing it is beautiful, dry. It's obviously night, but it is dry, out on track, and just attempt a little bit of fake going into the race. I saw a race once around here, and I was telling Logan this before we came live, that it went from dries to inters to full wets, to inters, to dries in 31 laps, and we had 3 safety cars and 2 VSCs. So, hopefully, some of the same might happen tonight. I really hope it doesn't, though.
Yeah, 4 stops, that's madness. That's like what should have happened at Imola yesterday, but unless you actually know, I shouldn't really say more about that, but I may have spoiled the race because some of you may have not saw it. Someone at work spoiled the result for me, and I said, "You absolute spoil sport, I'm telling my manager on you."
Terrible. Well, we're not going to spoil any sort of the result. I'm sure everyone has seen, obviously, the result in real life in Imola. Marlon, by the way, has got a lot of his ultras, as they're calling themselves in the chat there. Of course, Marlon is here tonight. He's there in the McLaren, of course, as always, and the German, of course, will be hoping. I think he could actually snatch a podium here tonight. I think he's got a really good chance of possibly. Dan Spreen, though, is the first man out on track. He's coming through the right hand of turn number 4, down Raffles Boulevard, and then in towards turn 6. We've seen Rexnig already leave the session. Hopefully he can get back in before qualifying actually gets underway. But Dan Spreen, first man on a lap, and honestly, he has been quite underwhelming so far this season compared to where his pace has actually been in recent leagues as well. And Dan Spreen is the one that's been struggling, I think, throughout the season. How can he perform coming into tonight?
Well, yeah, he hasn't had a great season so far. I've actually lost the standings for this, so that's unfortunate. Oh well. But yes, he's going to have to pick up the pace if he wants to get a decent finish. I don't think he can win the championship now, but of course,
no.
There are 4 rounds to go. He's got a lot to prove, and Singapore being a tight circuit, if he likes these kind of circuits, it's his time to prove his worth. Here tonight, as you see, weaving across the Anderson Bridge. Actually, no, that's past the Anderson Bridge, I think. Or is it? Because there's 2 bridges, isn't there?
It is. That's down into Connaught Corner at turn number 14. Anderson Bridge is just before that section, just before the left hairpin at turn 13. Dan, though, is coming through the marina section, or the bay section as they call it here, of course, in Singapore, underneath the grandstand. And this is where you can really invalidate your lap time. So hopefully Dan will be clean on his lap. Hopefully he doesn't invalidate into towards turn number 1. Watch out, 20 seconds will probably happen. Dan Spreen coming through the final couple of corners, through 22 and 23, and on the run to the line to set up on his lap here around this 5 kilometre circuit. Yellow flags, ignore them on track because drivers are just preparing for a lap. Dan Spreen through turn number 1, then through the right hander of turn 2, and then through the left hander of turn number 3 at Shears Corner, then through turn number 4, and then in towards turn 5, which of course leads down Raffles Boulevard through turn 5 onto Raffles Boulevard. Now hits the wall on the left hand side. Not sure if he's picked up any front wing damage. I think he got away with it though. He's coming down in towards Memorial Corner at turn number 7, 26.8 through the first sector from the Ferrari. He now comes through turn 7, then through the right hander of turn 8 at Stamford, and then through the turn 9 left hander at Patang, before we go, of course, down to the infamous Singapore sling. Oh, it's down a spun coming through Padang, and he's round already, and that is just really a real shoddiness, I think, in terms of the oversteer on the car, because he took too much throttle, applied it too much, and that is why he spun, and he applied too much throttle, and he's oversteered.
Yes, if you have a loose setup here, it's very easy to oversteer, especially around some of the tighter corners, trying to gain a lot of speed from the... Oh my goodness me, he nearly hits Yogurt coming out, trying to get back onto the track. Yogurt's actually invalidated anyway, so it didn't really do much damage to himself. As we make a look at Noof right now, and he's invalidated, just as I'm about to go on to him. Story of my life. As I look to find a driver that's actually on a lap. Do you have any Marcados? There he is. He's making his way around, and I get a weird camera angle for some reason. There we go.
if you're on board with the camera angle that I'm on board with, it's absolutely terrible in terms of the AlphaTauri. It's absolutely horrible.
It is absolutely horrible indeed. He's on mediums, by the way. Interesting choice. Then again, we're going around a tight course like Singapore. Softs are going to degrade like hotcakes. But there we go. Coming through. Cortez, Wilmer, and Ference also on mediums, by the way. Oh, that's not an ideal entry into the bay section. And to the final two corners goes across the bump that separates the pitch from the track. And he sets a 1:25.581. He is the first driver to set a time as we look to see elsewhere. Dan Spreen's completely lost his front wing, trying to get out of that sticky situation. That's not pretty good. We also have Dutch Missiles invalidated. I can't even see anyone on a lap. They're all validating.
Aston Martin is, though. Ference is on a lap. He's coming through the bay section now, turn 18 and 19. Underneath the grandstand has become on board with him. Marquez on top. Everyone pretty much is invalidated so far. That's why we're not getting many lap times in. There's a hazardous spun just before the Singapore singles just got out of the way. I think that might be Rudy, actually, that was spun coming through there. But Ference coming through the final corner on the run to the line. 36 flat. He's a lot more capable, I think, around this track. Actually, I thought he had front wing damage on the right side end plate, but he doesn't. Ference there in second. Only 2 lap times on the board. I think Nuth was on a lap as well. He's coming through the middle sector, 108.9, nowhere near in terms of his lap. I think he's going to be backing off this coming into the pit lane. On a set of softs, he's on a valid lap, but I think he'll probably come into the pit lane. Obviously, he's made a real cataclysmic mistake out on track in the middle sector. But Marquez out on top, Ference in second. I think they're the only two actually that have set laps so far, and Nuth does in fact come into the pit lane, trying to flick through as well, see if there's anybody on a lap. Maledictus is on a lap, the QVR man, but again, he looks like he's a bit like Nuth. He might come into the pit lane, and he does come into the pit lane here, Maledictus. Marlon is on a lap. He's coming through the final corner. He's going to go quicker than everyone here. Marlon to the line, 34.9. That's more like it in terms of a set of soft run, but we're still a little way off what we should be expecting. I wouldn't be surprised, Logan, if we get to the end of the session and there's a 33.
I wouldn't be either, and I wouldn't also be surprised if there was a large gap in the timing sheets. You can see it's already a large gap. Of course, those times will go down in 11 minutes time. But this is a very difficult lap to get around clean. It's very easy to validate, so they're all going to be very careful. What have you just seen, James?
Lewis was so close to hitting the Anderson Bridge. Coming across and he's wide, coming through 14. Nearly in the wall. Keeps it steady, though, on his lap. He's looking quite good. He'll probably go second, maybe, with this lap. But he's all over the shop, coming through 16 and 17. Through the bay section. Might decide to come back into the pit lane. Actually, the AlphaTauri man, of course, Lewis Curtis. Marlon out on top, though. Marquez second. Ference in third. No relation, by the way, to my girlfriend, who has also got the same surname of Curtis. There's a fun fact for you. Marlon out on top. Marquez second. Ference in third. 18 people just tuned in and realised that my girlfriend's surname is now called Curtis. As Lucas has put that, interesting that he's on the sort of soft compound size. I think medium strategy is better, but the race is quite long. I know you probably won't see it here tonight, but I have seen drivers go 30 laps on a set of mediums before around here. On a previous game, yes,
30?
But it can happen. It can happen, yeah.
All but one. Hi, Alex Albon. And Joey has completely went off the track. He's completely missed the turn in at the float section. Is it true that the float section is being demolished and being replaced by something entirely?
Which is the float section?
The one with the big stand. It used to have a football pitch, so they used to actually have football matches on there. That's soccer for you Americans watching. But yes, and I've heard they're going to remove it and they're going to build like a park or something over it. It's like a group of buildings and something like that. Yeah, I'm just searching it right now. The floating platform. I can't really actually see. I hope they actually remove the float section, in all honesty, because I actually think it's one of the slowest parts of the circuit. It's just not really exciting, and I'm sure I'm not going to be the only one in that group.
Is it bad that I don't know what you're talking about in terms of the float section?
Alright, between turns 16, 17, 18 and 19.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I flicked the camera just thinking that might have looked like the float section, and it was, because it's right next to the bay. I get it now. Yeah, so 16, 17, I think that might be the case, but obviously they've got the big old grandstand on the left-hand side, and they've got, obviously, the overpass round. There's a Ferrari round in the middle sector of Dan Spring.
Yeah. Dan Spreen again, and he cannot make any more mistakes. He's running out of time, 8 minutes. He's got about 2 chances left because he'd have to come in and out and then again. It's looking ominous for Dan Spreen. He needs to pick it up. Noof is already invalidated. That is purely bad luck. Maledictus is also on a lap. He's making his way through down into entry of Raffles Boulevard. And there is, I believe, Will Murdoch ahead of him. Yes, Will Murdoch, who is also on a lap. He set the fastest first sector, allegedly, because sometimes it's a glitch. Maledictus has set a faster one. I've just got a message, by the way, from Resnick. It says, guys, I can't race. I'm not sure if I can actually say this on here. But guys, I can't race. Someone stole money from my account and I need to go to police station.
Oh, wow.
That is horrendous. I am so sorry, Resnick. I hope that gets sorted out. That's the worst feeling. You know, I don't want to go into too much detail about it, though. We go back to the action. On a lighter note, Maledictus is coming through the third sector right now. He's just set a purple second sector as he makes his through to what I call the float section. And I'm sure James is going to pick this up now. He goes into the tunnel with no love because it's really tight. Coming through now to turn 20 and 21, something that has to be there because you have to make a conjunction from the street to the purpose-built circuit and comes to the line, and it will be a 1:36.082, putting him fourth, 2 thousandths behind Ferret, so he just misses the top 3. He's on a lap right now, coming through to the Anderson Bridge and making his way up to the third DRS section and entering sector 3 right now.
This is more like it from Ferentz actually on this lap. Hopefully Rexnig is okay, by the way. Obviously, horrible what has happened to him. All of our thoughts are certainly with him. Hopefully he gets his money back, which he rightfully owns, of course, and hopefully that person might necessarily be brought to justice. We can't obviously say that here on the stream, but hopefully the best outcome is possible there for Rexnig. Ferentz, though, still on this lap. He's coming through 21, in towards the final couple of quarters of 22 and 23. This looked a really assumed lap, actually, from Ferentz. To the line, he goes third, but look at that, only 9 thousandths behind Marcados. Marcados now in a set of softs, and he's 600 up just at the end of the first sector there. There's not really anybody on the lap. Cortez is preparing for an outlap, as is Dan Spreen. Just trying to see who's actually furthest on the lap. I think it's Will Murdoch again, coming across the Anderson Bridge. He set multiple lap times on a set of medium compound size. He clearly doesn't feel like he wants to set the pace alight at the minute, but Will coming through the middle sector, that's more like it from Will, 103.6. So clearly he's made mistakes on his lap so far, but with 5.5 minutes to go, it's Marlon at top, Marcados second, Ferentz in third. PSGL F1 commentator Luke Etheridge, by the way, in the comment section saying it is Singapore.
Hello.
Don't be surprised if there's rain at some point, and yeah, definitely not. And if it's anything like what I said at the start of the stream, it's Will Murdoch! Goodness me! How on earth he's kept that car out of the wall, I do not know. Coming through 19, through 20 and 21, he could still go second actually with this lap time. Coming to the line, actually it's a little bit off, but he goes fifth, 36.2. And he had a violent snap of oversteer on the curb, coming through 19. Yeah. How on earth he kept that in the straight line and out of the wall, I do not know.
I know why. It's Will Murdoch, and Marcados is not happy with his lap. He's backed out and gone into the pits again. He's going to have one more shot. He's only got 5 minutes, so he's got time to regroup and get back out there and set a flyer if he can. Cortez looks like the only one on a flyer right now, coming through to Esplanade. No, this is Esplanade. I do apologise. Esplanade, whatever. My Singaporean is horrendous. Then again, I have watched the Singapore dub of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's absolutely horrendous. Another horrendous. Right, coming to the purpose-built section now. The final 2 corners. Oh, massive cut over the curb. It's legal though, and he just stays in bounds and sets the 4th fastest time, 1:35.625. Coming through, Joey's on an outlap. He's 13.8 seconds off the pace. If this was the real world, he would be under the 100%, 7% section. What's just happened?
Dan Spreen hit the wall coming out of turn number 8.
Yeah.
That is just through the left. He clipped the left-hand wall basically on the exit of turn number 8. Think he kept the car going. Obviously, there's no damage on the left side end plate, but he is struggling on this lap. Really struggling to hook it up, as is many of the drivers actually out on track. So Dan Spreen probably going to go, I would say, around 4th, 5th, 6th sort of area. I'm going to pick him on board with Rudy, though. He has just started on a lap. No pressure for the championship leader. The Haas is coming down Raffles Boulevard in towards turn number 7 and Memorial Corner. It's Marlon out on top, Markador second, Featherington third, Rudy's first sector. That's more like it. 26.4 through the first sector from Rudy, and he now has to try and blaze the trail to try and get Marlon's fastest lap. 34.9 is his current fastest lap. Speaking of Marlon, I think he's just had an out lap, but actually spun, maybe coming out the pit lane now. There was a brief yellow flag. Rudy, though, on the run down towards the Singapore Sling. With 3 minutes to go in the session, still not many times on the board, only 7 times on the board. Other drivers on the lap as well, Yogurt and the likes, Dutch Missile and the likes as well. But Rudy is absolutely flying across the Anderson Bridge, in toward the hairpin now of turn 13, and then on the run down in towards turn 14, again getting very close to the wall, but this should be purple middle sector, and it is. It's a 102.9 in the middle sector. This is what you should be seeing on a set of softs, but Rudy coming alive on this set of mediums, could be going quicker than Marlon, and if he does, Marlon has got something to respond with on that set of soft companion tyres. But Rudy now coming down in towards the base section, through turn 18, through turn 19, on the limit as he comes through this part of the track, of course, where Schumacher and Kobayashi famously crashed in 2012. Rudy, though, through 20 and 21, Cortez is retired in the pit lane. Rudy, though, around the final corner, should go quickest, I think, with his lap, comes to the line, and he's just shy, 35 flat, but he couldn't have got a better lap than that. Marlon out on top by a 10th of a second, Rudy in second. Rudy, despite him being second, he'll be really, really chuffed with that lap. That was a really good lap.
It was indeed, and of course he's on medium tyres. The softs are going to degrade even faster than the mediums, obviously, and probably most other tracks as well. So Rudy has done the right thing going in the mediums, so he should be going on them for so many laps. Whether he's going to do 1 stop or 2 stop is a mystery to behold for the next few minutes, I'd have to say. Probably this whole hour that we've got probably is going to last an hour if we get so many safety cars. But anyway, Joey hasn't validated. He's got one final shot then to get around. This will be his last chance. He can't go into the pits now. He's got to go hell for leather coming through the final few corners. Here he goes. One last chance for Joey, the man, the myth, the legend in the Alpine, with Will Murdoch as his sidekick. Going on softs, by the way, Will Murdoch makes his way through the first 3 corners. Joey does. And the first DRS zone. I'm surprised the DRS zone looks quite short for one. Makes his way into Raffles Boulevard. There's no raffle tickets here to be sold. Sorry, boys and girls. Just love racing. Yeah, I know. I had to do it. I'm sorry. Makes his way into the Memorial Corner. And his lap will not be in memoriam there. And to Stanford now. Stamford with an M. And then Padang. What are these corner names, honestly? I know! Coming into turn number 10, the new Singapore Sling. It's not much of a sling anymore. And now into the Anderson Bridge. Turn 13 now. Very tight corner. I used to actually have a photo mode glitch there. It's on my channel. Up to Connaught now. The second DRS zone. Or the third DRS zone, if you count the first one as the third. Now, Rudy gets out of the way. And he's watching on in wondering what Joey is going to set here now through to the float section. And the Dutch Missile has quit. He is not happy with how he's done. 4 seconds off the pace. Yogurt goes into third, and Joey taps the wall coming into turn 20. Not what he wanted, and I think he's backed off. It's very unfortunate for Joey. And Lewis just stops on the side of the track. Now, Rudy is going on one. No, Rudy's run out of time, I think, to set another lap. So we need to find who is on a lap. Markados is invalidated. Maledictus, and my goodness me, Markados has had a mammoth crash going into the final thing. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to affect the section. Sorry, what?
Maledictus not too far off, actually, in the middle sector compared to Rudy. 103.3. Oh, he hits the wall, coming through 17, though. And now through into the base section, or through 15 into 16 and 17. That's what I was meant to say. Molyneux on top, Rudy second. Yogurt in third. He went third, by the way, as you were talking there. Ferrance is also on a lap. He's coming through the middle sector. But Maledictus is coming through the final couple of corners. It's Molyneux on top, Rudy in second. Yogurt there in third. Coming around the final couple of corners once again. Maledictus to the line. Goes seventh. Not really an improvement. improvement. Noother's the only man, I think, that's actually on the lap, as well as Ferrens, who is coming through the final corner, and actually he's coming into the pit lane. He's got damage on the left side end plate. Nuth, though, is on the lap. What can the German do? He's got to really respond here to Rudy's lap time. 35 for last. Nuth is going to be close, you know, to the line. 35-1. He goes third, and the wheel just blazing, coming through the final corner there as well. But it's Marlon out on top. Interestingly, the only driver that went on a set of soft compounded tyres on their valid lap time. It is Marlon out on top. It's Rudy in second. It's Nuth in third. Yogurt's not on the lap. He's the only man actually out on track. But it is Marlon out on top. Rudy in second. Nuth in third. Plenty of support for Marlon. It's his first pole position in PSGL F3 as well. So the German coming alive. Defeats Rudy, who's currently the championship leader. Nuth, of course, currently in third in the championship. Marlon has came alive here in qualifying, but it's only because he's on that set of soft compounded tyres. And by the way, good evening to PSGL royalty George Morgan in the comment section. I've got you there as well. Good evening to them. And Luke Etheridge also saying, I love this guy and his commentary more than my girlfriend. Slizer, that is. Hopefully you love Marlon more. Marlon's out on top. Rudy in second. Nuth in third. Yogurt in fourth. Marcados in fifth. Ferrens in sixth. You can make your own opinion about that one. Cortez in seventh. Maledictus in eighth. Lewis in ninth. Will Murdoch in 10th. Dutch Missile in 11th. Joey in 12th. Hyper, Dan Spreen, Rexnig didn't get qualifying time in. Rexnig, of course, leaving because he's had to go to that police station. Hopefully his incident will of course be sorted out and will get investigated, and hopefully everything will be fine and dandy for Rexnig coming back. But Marlon out on top, Rudy second, Nuth in third. Very close qualifying in the end, Logan, especially fifth down to seventh, looking at it, only 500ths of a second covering them, but Marlon out on top, Rudy in second. Lucas saying, I think, in terms of the strategy as well, majority drivers going for a set of mediums, clearly the better tyre, because the tyre weight's really high around here.
Yes, that's the that is the disadvantage Marlon will have to face, because the softs go absolutely degrade compared to most other tracks, especially because it is a street circuit like Singapore, where they probably refurbish it and the grip reaches high levels than you'd think. So Marlon's going to have a big ask in his hand if he's going to try and hold on from pole and win the race. Rudy in the prime position, mediums, he's going to be out for a long time, and they're not going to degrade as much as others because, of course, it is the medium tyre. But, of course, it probably is the way to go. Maybe medium hard, or if you're really, really risking it, medium soft. Would you think medium soft would be durable here?
I know what Marlon would be doing. He'll be going softs hards. So I think softs hards is a guaranteed strategy for Marlon. He has to, because the mediums only last around 13 laps around here. Given that it's really high tyre wear, we should be seeing, I think, a two-stop strategy as tyre choices further down the field. As I said, harder compounded tyres for Dutch Missile, Joey, Hyper, Rexnig. Rexnig's AI car, by the way, still in the session, so he's down there in 15. But Marlon out on top, of course, top 10, qualified majority on the set of mediums. Marlon being the exception rather than the rule. He's on that set of softs. Dan Spreen, though, set of soft compounded tyres going hard early, but clear indication, Logan, is Dutch Missile, Joey, Hyper, Rexnig, on the set of hards, means that, as a Ferrari has spun, is that Dan Spreen?
Yeah, Dan Spreen spun again. He's just having the worst day, honestly. I'm speaking like Vettel now.
Just to finish off my point, I'd ask you the question. Dutch Missile, Joey, Hyper, Rexnig, clearly, hard compounded tyres says to me we're going to get a dry race.
Yes, we are. Resnick's not in the race, by the way. It's just Dutch
AI,
Joey and Hyper on the hard. Yeah, it's a very interesting strategy from them, but we have seen medium soft be durable. I think these drivers are going to be doing hard soft. It'll be interesting how they'll do in the final stint of their race. Well, probably going to be 2, unless there is a safety car. It could make it 3 stints. We never know. That is to be seen, though, as the drivers make their way through the second DRS zone, which will be activated after the 3rd lap, unless there's a safety car. It'll be 2 laps at the 3rd lap after the safety car. You may notice the road markings are a bit off. That's because they've combined the 2 roads, so they make a diagonal shape across that bridge. So, yes, you can actually do that, but in real life it's like a massive, long, wide straight. But that's because there's so much traffic in Singapore. Everyone uses cars, despite being a very small country. It's not like Glasgow, where, of course, it's a very nice city, but everyone doesn't want to use cars. This is built for racing, because this is a car city. So, all the drivers come to the grid, I think it's time to get racing. Who's going to win? I can't put money on anyone but Rudy. I think Rudy has been on a massive hot streak. I think he can make it 4 on the trot, James.
I think Nuth might try and spoil the party here. I think it's going to be a real mixed-up grid. Rudy's going to struggle tonight, I think. And for me, I'm going to go Nuth for the win. I'm going to go Ference for second. And for third, I'm going to go for the Marlon Ultras. It is Marlon for third, of course, on that set of softs. Be interesting to see how far he pulls away. If he pulls away 3 seconds in the first 4 laps, he's gone too hard too early, and that will be the big defining moment in his race. So we'll see what will happen in the next 31 laps or so. The 5 red lights are now coming on here in Singapore. Round 12 of the championship, a PSGL F3, and it is... light and away we go, and Marlon gets a very good start, as predictably on that set of softs. Nuth is going to try and go around the outside of Rudy, though, in towards turn number 1, and tries to get the move done, and out for Tarian behind, really close to the back end. That was Marcados going around the outside of Yogurt in the meantime, and they're fighting now side by side through turn 3. Marlon leads the way, though. Rudy in second, Nuth in third. They're still side by side. Marcados and Yogurt coming through turn 4 and onto Raffles Boulevard. Marlon leads the way. Rudy in second, Nuth in third, and Yogurt is still side by side on the inside line. Ference in behind as well. It's fighting with Cortez. Cortez has gained a position off the start. Yogurt tries to dive it down the inside line. Ference, though, was on the inside line of Cortez. Tries to get the move done toward Memorial Court at turn 7. Doesn't quite get the move done. The Red Bull on the back as well as Maledictus, and he's going to get maybe outdone by Will Murdoch. Ference really got pushed up into the wall there. Now on settling down, Marlon leads the way. Rudy in second, Nuth in third. I've got to say, Logan, very, very good start by all.
Yes, very good start. Nothing much to be said. A lot of clean racing going around as the drivers make their way across the Anderson Bridge and into the distance across the DRS zone, which will not be activated for a while. Let me just get something, hold on. Making their way through Connaught now. It's still Marlon in the lead. He's got half a second lead, but of course, remember, he's on the softs, everyone's on the mediums. Those softs are going to degrade and become worse than the mediums. The mediums will become faster, and Rudy will have the advantage alongside Nuth to make their way through the float, of course, which is going to be demolished soon. I'm not sure if it's already been demolished, but that might change the course of the Marina Bay Street Circuit this year or next. Keep your tabs on hold for that. 7 tenths the gap there as we come to the conclusion of lap numero uno, and it's 1:42.007 from Marlon as they cross the line into the first corner for the second time tonight in racing conditions. Rudy needs to catch up, and Dan Spreen, well, he's had enough.
Wow.
Well, you've obviously seen that he's had the most miserable day possible. Le Miserable for Dan Spreen. He is out of the race already, down to 13 drivers if you exclude the missing Resnick.
Yeah, I can only think he's picked up some wing damage possibly coming through the final sector, and that's why he's retired the car into the pit lane. At least he's done the decent thing and retired the car in the pit lane. The AI is still going to come out on track. Codemasters, if you're watching, you can try and fix that, of course, for F122. Marlon leads the way, Rudy in second. Slizer, by the way, in the comment section is saying what I was going to say, actually, when you obviously came back to me there. Slizer has said Marlon needs to build a gap or kick him out of the DRS. As I said, if he gaps a second, he's out of the slipstream range. Rudy, though, doing a phenomenal job. He's just literally sitting there, conserving his battery, conserving his tyres. Rudy's doing the best job completely, because Marlon looks to me, off qualifying, as if he's actually done multiple laps on that set of soft compound tyres. Yes, he sets a purple middle sector, but it looks as if he's done multiple laps on that sort of soft compound tyre. Now he pulls away into the final sector, but to what effect? Because he's now going to be gapped back out to a second. Rudy there in second on a set of mediums. Rudy's just going to come probably in a couple of laps time and overtake him, because Marlon has gone too hard too early and he used up those tyres too much in qualifying.
Yeah, and that's what you alluded to on the formation lap. He's gone too hard too early, and Rudy's going to catch up eventually, and he hits the wall, Marlon does. They come through and cuts the corner completely. Well, not completely, cuts the curb, and DRS enabled now as Marlon sets the fastest lap at 1:39.859. That is faster than the real-life fastest lap by Kevin Magnussen in 2019, and he actually got a point for that, I think, as they make their way through into Raffles Boulevard right now. Marlon's still leading by about 6 tenths in the gap, starting to close, and Rudy has the DRS. He has a chance to take the lead here. I don't think he'll get it here. Nope, he will have to stay put for now as they exit Raffles Boulevard and into Memorial Corner. It is still Marlon in the lead on soft tyres. The Rogue soft runner, everyone else on mediums or hards in a harder compound and last longer. So they won't be in the pits for a while unless the safety car decides to join in the fun. Going through to the Anderson Bridge now. They've used both sides of the Anderson Bridge, funnily enough. They changed the layout and they had to change the side of what they use on that bridge. So, fun fact of the day for you. Rudy has 4 attempts, and you saw something, sir?
Will Murdoch got very close to the back of Maledictus. He still is on the back of him, but he got very close to the wall, coming out the hairpin at 13. He was so close, in fact, he could have tried to get the move, and again, coming out of 14, now towards 15 and 16, Will's just going to wait him behind, because there's no point in actually trying to go side by side through this part of the track. Will stays in 9th, Maledictus there in 8th for now, but it's only a matter of time where Will Murdoch is probably going to get this move done, and more likely, it's actually going to be the first move we're going to see all night, and I think this will be absolutely signed, sealed, and delivered. Turn number 1. He should get through. Saying that, though, he's in the wall. Right side end plate damage on the wall, and Will Murdoch has got damage. Maledictus is into the brake line. He must have damage as well. And Will Murdoch has got right side end plate damage on the car. I think he got away with it, though, but the ghosting came into play there. That normally indicates from wing damage, and he has, because Joey is catching him in behind. Rudy, however, though, is right on the back of Marlon. 3.5 tenths behind. Is he going to try and have the run down in Ruffles Boulevard in toward Memorial Corner? No, he's still not close enough. Marlon tries to get away. Rudy there in second, Newth in third. So this lap around, at least Rudy will get the move done in towards Memorial Corner. But if I was Rudy, I'd be probably pushing Marlon from mistake and let all of those medium guys behind through.
Yep, Marlon still ahead, but albeit by half a second. Rudy catching up a lot. By the way, Maledictus and Lewis have pitted for hard tyres. They may have got damaged by the looks of it, so they're coming into the pits now. And I think these hards, correct me if I'm wrong, could last the whole race.
Yep.
So not a good day for the Red Bulls. One driver had to pull out due to personal issues, and of course,
here comes Rudy.
Early.
Rudy's on the back of Marlon. In towards third 14, tries to go all the way around the outside. Marlon very still to the defence, and he nearly goes in the wall. And Rudy could try and get the run actually in towards 15 and 16. Who said you can't overtake here in Singapore? To the inside line of Rudy. Doesn't get the move done, and Marlon hangs on. Rudy in second, Newth in third, and now look at the train in behind. 5-car train. Cortez in this as well. Ferran's not too far off. Marlon is holding these guys on an absolute treat. I think Rudy's probably just willing them to get out the way at this point, because Rudy's all over the back of him. Everyone else is all over the back of him. And Marlon has just gone too hard too early. You can tell by the blistering on the front right. He really gets a good corner. The final corner, though, Yogan is going to be side by side, maybe with Marcados in this train on the run towards turn number 1. He's not close enough, though. Marcados actually has got good straight line speed down the straight. But that was the first opportunity that Rudy could try and get the move done. It's going to be Memorial Corner, turn 7, this lap around, because Rudy's right on the back of him, much closer this time compared to last lap. And now, like Burry Burman and Jano Otme and PSGL PC, they're going to go side by side into Memorial Corner. Rudy to the inside line, should get this move done on the brakes. The Dutchman down the inside of the German, should get the job done, force him out wide. And now Newth is involved in this Marlon and still side by side with him, and he could try and get the switch back. Rudy, bit of tap there on the back end. Marlon, though, offline, got forced out there by Rudy, and Marlon had no other choice to try and get the inside line, as now Rudy's going to get the run down towards the Singapore sling. Neither gets the move done. Marlon hangs on. Rudy in second, Newth in third. Marlon defending a bit too aggressively.
Yeah, I think he is, and I tell you what, Marlon is just backing everyone up at this point, just like Sergio Perez last year. But enough about that. Rudy is poking Marlon with a stick and saying, "Do something and let me out of the way." But Marlon's like, "No, I want to stay out even further," and he still stays ahead. Marlon putting on an insane display of defense, maybe too over the line, because he did zigzag a bit, I believe, into the Singapore sling. But that's a question to be asked for another day. What?
Just a quick question. Does he have to give that position back? Because obviously he got forced out by Rudy coming through Memorial Corner.
I'm not sure. I'd probably say it's fair game considering the circumstance. So maybe he was giving back the position, Rudy, just to fairness. But there again, we come through to start lap number 6. And Rudy's closing up, but he's not going to get the move into turn number 1 at this purpose-built section of the track. And making our way into turn number 3, right on the back again. Second DRS zone now. No, this is not the DRS zone. I do apologise. I've got them mixed up.
Oh, this should be easy.
Oh, he done it again.
Marlon weaving down the straight, but Rudy to the outside line. Now to pulls to the inside line into a Memorial Corner. Marlon nearly comes across on him, and Rudy once again Going to force him to the outside line, force him off track. Marlon's still going to be there, but he's not close enough. And now Rudy should get this move done around the outside of turn number 8. Marlon is still there, though. Rudy gets the job done, coming out of turn number 8. He had to wait for an extra lap, but he's through, and he's into the lead of the race, and now puts a car between himself and the rest of the medium runners. Rudy through, and he's into the lead of the race. On to lap 6 we go through the Singapore sling. Rudy leads, Marlon second, Nuth in third. And that move, he waited patiently. He could have easily tried to force the move, because Marlon moved across on him, didn't force the move, and that is really clean driving by Rudy, and that's exactly what everybody else would have done, I'm sure, in this situation. Rudy now leads, Marlon second, Nuth in third, and Marlon is going to hold on to second for now.
Yeah, but he's losing time to Rudy. He's losing a lot of time through these corners. The gap's now 8 tenths. He's just backing up the ones behind him. This is only helping Rudy. He's out of DRS range. Rudy is absolutely cruising, and he's on his way to 4 in a row, and this is only lap number 6. It's a bit early to talk about that, though. Marlon is still backing up everyone. He just wants to... I don't know, just have a massive party with them all. It's a massive conga train, and Marlon has pitted. He has waved the white flag. He's going to go onto a new set of tyres. What is it? I think it might have to be the white tards. Let's see, is he coming to the pits? Yeah, it looks like it's white.
I wouldn't be surprised though if it's mediums.
It's hard tyres.
Yeah, it's hard. I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if it's mediums, because Will Murdoch's came into the pit lane behind. I think he's got damage, obviously, from early on in the race. Nuth, though, was under pressure from Marcos. I'm impressed with Marcos' pace in that train, because he looked very quick. Obviously, gapping Yogurt there. He's there in third. He's not going to be close enough this time around to Nuth, but Marcos does look quick tonight, so watch out for him in the latter stages of this race. As per Marlon, though, into the pit lane, in 11th position, of course, Rexlig's AI car is ahead of him, and actually, he's going to get a bit of cheeky DRS here, actually, down the straight towards Raffles Boulevard, and Marlon obviously gonna get the DRS. This will be moved in obviously on the Ghost car, but in 11th position he's got a clear track in front of him. It's around 22 seconds a pit stop around here, and Marlon is behind the leader by, well, 27.7 seconds. I think I might have got my calculations wrong, but Marlon now on a set of hards is in clear air at least. Rudy though pulling away out in front.
Yeah, as Nuth not very impressed with Marlon's defensive work. He's lost a lot of time already, and this is a crucial time for Nuth to get some points on the board if he has any chance to stay in this title fight. Rudy is currently closing. Their point difference is 21 points, I do believe.
Yep.
As they make their way, these two championship contenders, through the final part of this course. Lap number 8 about to commence. But yes, Nuth is going to have to pick up the pace if he's going to get anywhere near Rudy. Like, no DRS, it's not looking ideal for Nuth, but of course there could be a little twist in the tail. If there is a safety car, that could change things, of course. But Marcos, you're at the top 6 train starting to break up as we see something on the screen, sir.
I thought Rudy made a mistake there through turn number 4. He's actually gained the time back, but Rudy, I thought, made a mistake coming through turn number 4 there. Nuth, though, 1.1 seconds off. The big advantage that Nuth has got is his ERS management. He's got 27% of ERS. Compared to, obviously, the start of the lap, it was 20% more than Rudy. Rudy and Nuth have now used up a bit more deployment, Nuth especially so, and now the gap is anywhere between 3 and 5% in terms of the ERS. So Nuth has used up that ERS just to get onto the back of the DRS train, still outside of a second at the minute, but the German doing a good job on the back of the Dutchman, and I think all he can do is just run in the background. Rudy is prone to mistakes, so if I was Nuth, I'd be honestly trying to get onto the back of him, force Rudy into a mistake, maybe force him out of the race as well, and then Nuth's got a big chance obviously to gain in the points.
Yes, indeed. As we join... Oh, what's happened now?
Cortez was sideways as anything coming out of turn 13. Portuguese man keeps in the straight line, he remains 5th. Oh, and again!
Oh, he's done it again. He's done it again. He's really struggling on this medium. Is he pushing too hard on them? Because if they're... That is not normal if you've been on 7 laps of these tyres. He's probably pushing too hard, and that's causing him to lose grip. Either that, or it might be his setup, or they might be overheating, because they do have a tendency to overheat sometimes. 100 Celsius is probably the point you don't want to be. Actually, I'm not quite sure. I haven't league raced in a whole year. Yogurt on the back of Marcos, showing a good impression on his debut, making his way through the first 3 corners, and Ferenc is the first one to incur a 3-second time penalty for 3 strikes, and you're out. 3 seconds on the board, and he's going to have to try and make that up in dividends if he's going to try and get anywhere up the order.
Here comes Yogurt on the back of Markadors to the outside line. He absolutely mullers him. If you get that joke, well done. Yogurt through and he's into third. Markadors in fourth. I was preparing that from a few laps back. Yogurt in third. Markadors in fourth. And that is why I'm probably going to get sacked as PSGL F3 commentator just because of that dirty, dirty pun. Rudy through. Nuth and Rudy stood in the lead. Nuth in second. Yogurt in third. But you could say Yogurt put him into a corner and mullered him.
Oh, I see what you did there! Muller Yogurt! No product placement here, please. We are completely independent of advertising, except we do actually have a sponsor. We have forgot to mention the entire time. Apologies to our people at Grid Rival.
I thought you were going to say more about Grid Rival.
I thought it was your job.
It is Grid Rival, obviously the F1 Fantasy League. If you haven't joined already, you can go on the... It'll be on the F1 and F2 streams, that's for certain, because obviously we just come live. But it should be in the description on most streams, so go and watch PSGL F1 or F2 later on around here, and you'll see the affiliate link, of course, that is in the description. And then you can sign up, of course, and try and win that prize pool, of course. And the prize pool is, Logan?
£50 if at least 100 people join the league by the 18th of March, which was over a month ago. I'm not sure if it was reached because I don't play Grid Rival. Unfortunately, yet I still have to advertise it because it's actually a good thing, as Ferris comes into the pits, as I was saying. But if you want to join this Grid Rival Annual Fantasy League, then you can click the link www.premiersimgl.com/gridrival. Download the app if you're on mobile, register an account, search for PSGL Public League and join, and then you can create your own fantasy team for the F1 2022 season. That is Grid Rival. It makes your motorsports league much more fun with a built-in fantasy league to let you enjoy all the action in F1 2022.
Tell you what would be more fun though, Nuth trying to get the move done on Rudy. Rudy leading the way, Nuth right on the back of him, 7 tenths behind him, now within that DRS range. Yogurt as well, really impressed in his pace. He's pulled away from Markadors, he's there in third, now on the back of the DRS train, got more ERS to use up as well than Nuth and Rudy in front of him, not as necessarily as Rudy, but more than Nuth by around 10% ERS, and Yogurt is impressing me really seriously in terms of his pace so far. But Rudy leading the way, Nuth in second. Nuth for the first time though just looks like he's applying a bit of pressure to Rudy. Rudy now beginning to make a few mistakes. I saw him cut the curb coming through turn 14 on the right hand side, and that just forced him sideways slightly, and that's why Nuth has gained some of the time back. And again through 22 he just loses the time there slightly, 5 tenths per second coming to the line. I wouldn't be surprised if Nuth tries to have a go down into a Memorial Corner. If he's close enough he'll think about the move, the German, because he has shown pace around here in previously races I've commentated on around here. So Nuth on the back of Rudy, 6 tenths away though, coming in towards Raffles Boulevard. He's absolutely got no chance of trying to get this move done. Yogurt there in third is going to remain as we are as well. There is a battle though going further on down the field. Maledictus, who came back into the pit lane, must have picked up a front wing damage. Maledictus there in 14th. Is on the back of Lewis for 13th, and they're going for the wooden spoon at this point. But still, battle for the lead looks quite interesting.
Just like to confirm, there is no wooden spoon prize in PSGL, alongside the have to quash the rumours that there is no 1 million jelly beans prize for the Overtake award, despite him getting awarded by Crypto.com anyway. Congrats, Seb. That he actually did get his jelly beans. Maybe not 1 million because, you know, logistics, but hey, it's still jelly beans. At the end of the day, speaking of Aston Martin drivers, Yogurt still going right on the back of Nuff, trying to scoop his way into second place, like his spoon would in his Yogurt.
That's terrible.
I know! I'm thinking of ice cream, I think.
Connor's probably just watching the stream now and thinking these puns are absolutely terrible. Where have we got these two commentators from? Honestly, we're third of the way through the race in Singapore. Rudy leads the way, Nuth in second, Yogurt in third, and Yogurt's into the pit lane. Yogurt into the pits. Now this is going to be really interesting. Marquinhos is also in, Fulham in, so Yogurt into the pit lane. Marquinhos in, Cortez stays out, but this surely has to be for set of hard compounded tyres. It cannot not be for any other tyre. Set of hards will go on. 20 laps, can make it to the end of the race very comfortably indeed. Yogurt into the pit lane. He was on the back of that DRS train. Is this the chance for Yogurt to try and get that undercut on the back of Rudy and Nuth? Because I think now, if I was Rudy or Nuth, I'd be actually extending their stints a little bit further and obviously try and get Marquez out. In terms of that, Marlon, by the way, we forgot totally to mention him. He's well ahead of Yogurt by around 2.5 seconds, so there's a chance Marlon could be around 1.5 to 2 seconds clear when Rudy and Nuth come into the pit lane. But I'd imagine Rudy and Nuth will probably stay out a few more laps.
Yes, but remember, he's going to have more worn tyres, and what's happened here?
Marquez is going side by side with Ferrens down the Raffles Boulevard, and Interval Moral Corner gets the job done. But the other point that I was going to come at, Enzo apparently says there's going to be rain in 15 minutes.
Rain in 15 minutes? Well, do not adjust your set. Do not change this channel. Take your phone, get your phone off the hook. Phone all the friends that you have and tell them to watch this race because it ain't over. Well, of course it's not. We've got 20 laps to go, but you know what I mean. There is life in this race yet, as the gap at the top is about 7 tenths. You're trying to close up, but they are starting to really go through more cumbersome in these tight corners. I think they want to keep their tyres in ship shape for the end of the race. If we do get there at dry conditions.
But as Cortez is now in split lane from third, but now with rain forecast, Marlon obviously is on a set of hards. What will he do though? Because Rudy and Nuth are going to extend their stints out. There is a big opportunity here for Marlon, obviously. If Rudy and Nuth come in this lap around, Marlon and possibly Yogurt and Marquez will probably be ahead. But if Rudy and Nuth, which I think, if the rain is coming, they're going to extend their stint out as far as possible until the rain comes, Rudy and Nuth are going to be out in front of the race because Marlon will have to come in the pit lane. He's in 6th position. His opportunity for me, looking into the future, obviously with the rain still not obviously falling out on track, but for me, Marlon is in a really tough spot. He's in 6th position. Marquez and Yogurt are going to go side by side into a Memorial Corner. Marquez sent it down the inside line. And that was wishful thinking. Try to go the inside there. Yogurt holds on for 7th. Marquez had to try. The gap was there. But the gap well and truly failed. And Marquez there in 8th position. But just to finish off my point, Rudy and Nuth will be extending their stint. Marlon is in a really tough spot though. He's in 6th position. Rudy and Nuth stay out to the pit stops, as well as Joey Dutch Missile Hyper. They're guaranteed to. Rudy and Nuth do. Marlon's got no chance of a podium. Simple as that. His only chance will be for a safety car.
Yeah, he's calculated this very badly, unfortunately, and it might harm his chances. It probably has harmed his chances of winning this race. That is, unless something crazy happens ahead, as Yogurt and Marquez still battling for 7th place. I think it was 8th until Cortez pit, and there is an incident there, I do believe.
Joey, I think.
It was Joey, and...
No, it wasn't. Who was it? I don't know. There was a random yellow flag.
I'm checking. There is an incident sector 2 though, and it is, I believe it is Maledictus, and Lewis had a collision. I don't see any damage on Lewis's car. I don't see any damage on Maledictus' car. Might have been a bit of a tussle through at the Singapore Sling, else they are still going, and the gap there at the top is becoming half a second. It's getting very interesting, James. They're both extending, but they're both fighting as well. They've got to keep it together if they want to win this race, of course, because remember, they've got a pit stop again, perhaps, because there might be rain on the horizon.
Yeah, Marquez gets the move done in the meantime on Yogurt. Nice and clean sailing down the straight in towards Memorial Corner is through, and he's into 7th. Yogurt there in 8th. Rain apparently 10 or 15 minutes away. So the first raindrops, to me, will be coming next 5 minutes or so, perhaps, and then impact on the circuit. It is quite a long lap around here. It's 1 minute and 38 lap, as Will Murdoch has just purely anticipated there with the fastest lap of the race. But Rudy and Nuth, 4/10 of a second. Nuth is trying to put Rudy into a bit of a mistake here, but he's forcing himself into a bit of a mistake, and Nuth is doing a good job, but they have to extend their tyres. Enzo was saying in the chat as well, 60% tyre wear for the medium runners as well. I think that'll probably be a little bit shy, might be around 50% I think in terms of the mediums, but Rudy and Nuth, normally quite good on their tyres, should make it to the inters. If the intermediates can tell, just in terms of the conditions out on track, it's got a lot darker running down the straight. The rain is forecast. It's clouding over, even though it's nice. It's clouding over the circuit. Really leads the way. Nuth in second. Marquinhos, though, is now right on the back of Marlon, and we're perhaps going to see VO against ORC drivers going at it here. Marlon in 6th, Marquinhos in 7th. Not going to be close enough in towards turn number 1, but Marquinhos on the back of Marlon in towards turn 1. Not quite close enough, and this should be down in towards turn 7, you would think.
Yeah, I think so too. Look at all these teams battling. It's like that esports cup you were doing last season, as Will Murdoch gets a penalty whilst in a
this is easy
with Maledictus. It's very easy for Marquinhos. He's trying to make his way into 6th place, and on medium tyres, yeah, it's going to be very easy for him, and probably for Yogurt too, because he's on fresher, harder tyres than Marlon. Actually, they're the same compound, but you know what I mean. They're already in nice ship shape because he pitted 5 laps later than Marlon, of course. So it's looking good for Yoga Marquinhos. He has a bit of a wobble into the bridge, but you have the DRS now, and Marlon has a horrendous exit. This is only going to help Yogurt as he has the DRS. So does Marlon. He stays ahead for now, but he's probably lost a lot of time as Will Murdoch has come in for softs, James.
Yeah. Front wing change as well. Yeah, Will Murdoch in. Front wing change, soft compound tyres on. If it's going to rain, you have to go on to a set of softs at this point. Yogurt on the back of Marlon. And this just further backs up my point what I was making. Marlon is now in a really tough scenario because Marquinhos has pulled away from him already on this lap. He's got Yogurt on the back of him, who arguably is looking like the quickest driver out on track at the minute. Yogurt there in 8th. Marlon has got literally nowhere to go. He put it in way too early. Way too early. It'll come back to bite him right on the backside. And at the minute, Ruth and Rudy, 1st and 2nd, controlling the race. They may as well work together at this point. They've got an AI car of Will Murdoch, I think that is, just in front. And that has put Nuth off. And Will Murdoch, of course, has to get out the way because it's blue flags. If he doesn't, he's going to pick up a penalty. It's as simple as that. He's gone through on Rudy. So now the blue flags might go. He's really quick compared to the guys in front. But Nuth just got put off by that. And to me, as Yogurt is going to get the move done on Marlon in towards Memorial Corner, gets the job done as we come on board there in towards turn 7. Marlon's on the outside line though, tries to refight the position, doesn't get the move done. But to finish off that point with Rudy and Nuth, Nuth just got put off there. Marlon's picked up a 3-second penalty as well, so that he now track extends through, I think that was turn 8. But Rudy leading the way, Nuth in 2nd. It just put off Nuth quite a lot, but he's still on the back of Rudy and within a second, which is what you want.
Yes, it is. I don't know what's going on with Will Murdoch. It looks like he's not ghosted anymore. He's overtaken the leaders, so he won't have. He's unlapped himself, so he won't have to worry about being left behind in the safety car. As Lewis has pit again, so I'm not sure if he's going to come out ahead of the leaders or Will Murdoch. Here comes Will Murdoch now. He's not behind Will Murdoch, so it looks like Lewis is okay, but he's really charging. He's probably going to have to let him through at this point, and he does. And I hate to say this, but if he cannot catch up, Lewis might be lapped by the leading cars at top. There's not been much action such as mistakes in this race. Well, I speak of a mistake, and Ferrant has made one out of turn 21, and he's come into the pits. He must have damage of some sort coming in. And what has just happened here?
Marquinhos is right on the back of Hyper. Look at how quick he is on these mediums. He's right on the back of Hyper. Pulls the outside line down Ruffles Boulevard. Easily gets the job done. Marquinhos is really coming into play. He gets past Touch Missile. He's on the chance of a really good podium position here. All of the guys in front of him are obviously going off in terms of their tyres. Nuth more especially so, I think, than Rudy. Rudy's tyres are looking fine on the front right. They're looking blistered, don't get me wrong, but they're looking better than Nuth's. Nuth's is completely shot, especially the front left. There's a big black grain going right through the middle of the car, or middle of the tyre, I should say, not through the middle of the car, because otherwise he'd be probably in the wall. But Nuth, in second, he's gone too hard. It's this case of going too hard too early. He's gone too hard too early, and now he's paying the price, and now he pays the price even more because there's a 3-second penalty. He's just paying the price, and he's got too much heavy tyres on that car, but he has to try and let it out because the rain is still not falling out on track.
It's still not falling. I don't know where it's gone, and I'm not sure if the weather forecasters got it wrong for the umpteenth time. Hi, Michael Fish, in 1987. Remember, he said there was a hurricane away. While you're watching, don't worry, there isn't. And what happened? There was a hurricane in the south of England. Funny, I know. But Newf still in the 1 second threshold with Rudy. So he had... No, he's not. He's not anymore. I'm not sure if he got it before or after.
No.
We'll have to see. No, he didn't. He is lagging behind, and this is not helping Nuff's chances. With a 3-second penalty to boot, it looks like the chances of him winning are fading away. And looks like Marquinhos and Dutch Missile are going to go to war now.
Easy. This should be easy. The AlphaTauri on the back of McLaren pulls the outside line to replicate a move. Compared to Hyper, Dutch Missile came across on him. Bit of hand of rage there for Marquinhos, but he's through and he's into fourth. Not sure why Dutch Missile was trying to come across there, to be honest, but Marquinhos is through and he's into fourth. He's the fastest man out on track. He will catch around 2 seconds a lap on Joey, probably 2 seconds a lap on Rudy and Nuth as well. Marquinhos has got a serious chance. If the rain continues not to come, as Jorgen is through on Hyper as well, down into towards the Singapore Sling, that is, so Hyper must have got a really poor run out of there. Ferrens is on the back of Maledictus as well.
Yes, he is. They're battling right now. He's on soft tyres, Ferrens. What's so funny?
I thought you were going to say... I thought you were going to come in quicker then. You expect me to say more. Ferrens is on the back of Maledictus. He should get this move done. He's on a set of softs. Easily by. And Ferrens is through and he's into 10th.
He is into 10th and back into the points, and these softs, remember he's 42 seconds behind us, so he's got to really hope for a safety car. But remember, it's also going to rain as well, so it'll be interesting to see if there is a safety car before or after the rain comes down. He actually hits the wall there, coming out of turn, the Padang corner. There doesn't seem to be many gaps that are less than 1 second, except in the mid-pack. We've got 4 on show, but Resnick, of course, is not in the race. We've got a little DRS train here between Hyper, Marlon, and Cortez. Cortez charging on the medium tyres compared to Marlon and Hyper, who is yet to pit as they make their way through into Raffles Boulevard. Coming this corner, Yogurt is also in the battle. He's battling Dutch Missile, but I think he's a bit too far behind, but you never know. He might go for it. Dutch Missile. Oh my goodness me, he's gone on the outside. He nearly got... He was very puzzled at what Dutch Missile didn't
and he just...
and he just sends it in the inside at Memorial Corner. Cheeky from Yogurt into 5th place. And Ferrens hits the fastest lap of 1:39.938. Not really surprising considering...
Marlon, I thought he was going to go around the outside of the Singapore Sling. He's right on the back of Hyper. I thought he was going to do that around the outside, but he doesn't, and it's raining out on track. The rain has now begun to fall out on track, coming to the Anderson Bridge section. And look at Cortez down the inside of Marlon. Where's this came from? The Portuguese man just muscles his way through into 8th. Beautiful move by Cortez. Gap was there. Marlon now picks up the DRS obviously in behind, but Marlon there in 9th. Cortez are looking really quick indeed. Marquinhos looking really quick, but now the rain beginning to fall. Just how quickly is it going to impact on the circuit? Guaranteed for Inters, and it looks like it's coming in already for Inters because Rudy is in. Nuth is following in as well. No, Nuth stays out. Nuth stays out, and Rudy's into the pit lane. And this is the wrong call. This has got to be the wrong call. Rudy's into the pit lane. He'll go for Inters. Joey has stayed out. Marquinhos has stayed out. Nuth is going to get maybe a second on him here. Even with Nuth's really bad tyres, you can tell the little white yellowish spots that come on the track surface. That normally indicates when it's intermediate compounder tyres. At the minute, running down Raffles Boulevard, it still looks greasy, but it's not Inters at the minute. Rudy's in for a set of Inters, and that is the wrong call, and I think he's just lost the race there.
I think he might have, and Hyper gets a penalty. I think he may have cut the pit lane line as well. Rudy
Ferrens in the wall.
Ferrens is in the wall, and he's lost a strong wing, and he's completely lost it. He's probably got overheated tyres now. I think he must have lost it somewhere there. It's starting to fall down now as they make their way. The mid-pack makes their way through Memorial Corner. What's going on?
I'm absolutely gobsmacked at Rudy's decision to come on for a set of Inters. It's lap 20 out of 31. It's way too early. He's struggling. He's lost already a second. He's lost 3 seconds already. He's on a set of Inters. The track is not getting wet. Nuth has won this race.
I think I know why. I think he was thinking, oh, this is too long of a lap. It might fall down. It might cascade down. That's absolutely wrong. Ferrens is going to retire from the race by the looks of it. That is true. Actually, no, he's left the session. He's not retired from the race. So.
Oh, Marlon! A around the outside of turn 14. Sorry to cut you off, gets the job done, and Dutch Missile has just been outgunned by Cortez as well around the outside of 14. So Cortez is doing his into fifth. Medium's clearly the tyres to be on. Cortez is doing his into fifth, and look at Marcados. Marcados only a second off the back of Joey. Nuth leads the way. Joey in second. Marcados in third. There's a big chance that Marcados can still win this.
Marcados is absolutely charging. He's on the medium tyres, 8 laps old, and he's charging down on the unpitted Joey, and Joey goes very wide on the outside, and that ain't going to help him. The gap now, half a second. He's going to be shuttling it down at Raffles Boulevard. Actually, I don't think so. He's a bit too far behind. No, it's going to be about 3/10, but Joey, oh my goodness me, you can see the difference in tyre wear and tyre compounds. Very close there. Joey was Marcados. The gap now 3 seconds at the top. And remember, Nuff's got a penalty. Joey coming into winning range by the looks of it. 11 laps to go. And remember, if the rain is still bucketing it down, they'll have to pit. And what is going on here?
Have you seen the gap for the lead? It was 4.2 seconds at the start of the lap. It's 2.9 now. Joey,
struggling.
Marcados are catching. They're catching quick as well. Nuth leading the way. His tyres are absolutely done for out on track. He has to hope that this rain falls heavy out on track. At the minute, it's not really impacting on the actual track surface. So, that means all the guys on a fresh set of tyres, either on hards or on a set of mediums, as Marlon's now going side by side with his teammate and actually squirrels his way out of 14, but still doesn't get the move done. Nuth leads the way. Joey in second. 2.4 seconds now. He's caught another half a second in this final sector alone. Joey is flying. Marcados, though, probably going to get this move done. Nuth is finally into the pit lane. It still looks too wet. It still looks too dry, though, I think.
Joey has a big advantage now. He's still not pit. He's on hard tyres and he is flying, but Marcados right behind too. It could be either one of these drivers' race. The question is, when are these drivers going to pit? As you were going to say something, James?
Potentially. I think this race might not actually turn inters. That's what I'm going to say. Nuth's gone for a set of softs. Nuth's gone for a set of softs. That's exactly what I was thinking. Marcados is now on the back of Joey for the race lead. This Singapore race is now going to be in the latter stage of this race. Marcados is doing, he's into the lead of the race. But just in terms of the rain falling out on track, it's not impacting the track surface. It would have went inters by now. It hasn't. Marcados leads the way. Joey in second. Nuth has came into the pit lane. Marcados could stay out there and win this. Marcados could get those tyres 19 laps to the end of the race, and he can win this. Marcados is now in pole position to take this race win, even if Nuth is going to close 2 seconds a lap.
Oh, Rudy, what have you done? He's absolutely losing time here.
He's still on inters.
Yeah, he hasn't went back and pitted. He's realised what mistake he's made, and he's just going to try and hope the weather gets worse. It's starting to look a little bad in the final section, but I don't think it's going to be bad enough. Marcados now in the lead and absolutely flying. Joey, surely he's got to pit for softs, right?
Yeah.
He's going to have to pit for softs, but he's going to fall right down the order. And the closest guy to Marcados will be Yogurt, who is about 4 seconds behind as I speak. Joey's still holding out there, hoping that the rain gets worse, but I don't see that happening. And look who's right behind Rudy. It's Maledictus. The gap 2/10, and it's just a plain sailing for Maledictus. No challenge from Rudy there. And he gets the DRS as well, just to add insult to injury. This is all falling apart for the championship leader. The title race is on!
Title race is on, and this is Nuth's big chance, obviously in 7th at the minute, but all of these guys potentially have still got to come into the pit lane, potentially to the end of the race. 9 laps, including this one left to go. This is a fascinating Singapore Grand Prix. Marcados leads the way. Joey in second, Yogurt in third. Who said Singapore wasn't interesting? Honestly, Rudy into the pit lane. Obviously, for that set of inters, he's still living above hope, I think, for this track to turn wet. It might turn wet, but I think the rain's actually stopping now. Out on track, coming and watch across the Anderson Bridge on board with Marcados. This rain is easing off. It looks quite dry, it looks quite clear in the sky above as well. It's still raining, obviously, out on track, but the conditions at this moment in time favouring all of the guys that have stayed out on warmer tyres, because Nuth has got in. Rudy finally came into the pit lane and realised his sense. He's gone into a set of softs. It's not going to turn wet before the end, and look at the rain. It's nearly stopped coming across the Anderson Bridge to the right on board with Nuth.
Yeah, and now Rudy will be absolutely furious at himself. Why did you go on the inters? Why did you even go on the inters at all? He went on so early, and he shouldn't have been going on them in the first place. He should have waited until the message DRS disabled showed up on his monitor, but it hasn't, and as a result, he has paid the price and fallen out of the points. Can you believe it? I think he might score because Will Murdoch is up ahead 2 seconds, and if he manages to snatch 10th place off, he will get a point. And I think he might have to pit as well, Will Murdoch. He's also made a mistake. He thought it was going to be wet as well, but apparently not. Apparently it's not got wet enough. The rain is still not falling down. Maledictus getting the penalty, and there's an incident there, I think.
Is that Nuth? It is Nuth.
Oh,
coming
man.
through turn 3. Nuth off through turn 3. So he's gone straight on at Chia's corner.
And sorry to cut you off, Will Murdoch and Rudy having a bit of a clash between the Anderson Bridge and the DRS zone, and Rudy got cut into the corner. And I think that might have done some damage to Rudy. I don't see any visually, as the rain is still coming down here, but no changes in terms of messages of DRS disabled. It's still enabled, and Rudy trying to get revenge on Will Murdoch. Murdoch is struggling by the looks of it. They're both on soft tires, but as you know, Will Murdoch is fading fast. What is Will Murdoch going to do? He's going to stay out, and Rudy trying to get a point, still furiously acting on him as they make their way. Should be plain sailing going into the first corner, and it is. Rudy into 10th place, back into the points, but he needs more than that if he is to reduce any damage done to him as Will Murdoch goes wide.
Joey's in. I have a feeling this is for Inters. Because the rain has got heavier now out on track. This could be for Inters. If this is for Inters, Joey's pulled off an absolute blinder. If it's for softs, I wouldn't be surprised either. But if it's green wall tyre, it's softs. It is softs for Joey. I thought the rain had got heavier coming through turn 1. That's why I was thinking he'd go for Inters, but it hasn't. Marcados leading the way. 3.6 seconds, has got more pace over Yogurt at the minute. Cortez is in third, on for another podium. Second time in 3 races, perhaps, for Cortez to be on the podium here. Marcados still leading the way. Yogurt in second, Cortez in third, Marlon is fourth. Rudy is in the points now, he's in 10th. Nuth is back into the pit lane, though. Nuth is into the pit for a front wing change. Front wing change for Nuth. And that was because of turn 3. So he's in the wall out of turn 3, and obviously came into the pit lane, and he's now in a set of softs, and perhaps going to be behind Maledictus, could be well ahead of Rudy. Rudy's on the other side of the track, for goodness sake. Nuth's going to be out of the pit lane in 9th. Rudy in 10th. Enzo's saying that the Inters are going to work around lap 28. There is still a possibility that the Inters are going to change the course of this race. I don't think he'll actually turn Inters before the end, though. I really don't.
I don't think so either. I don't see any change in the conditions since the rain started to fall. I don't know where Rudy is right now. I think he's only a little distance away from the leader, Marcados. Yeah, he's about 20 seconds behind in terms of actuality, maybe less than that. But yeah, it's all gone wrong for Rudy. He's down in 10th place, and Cortez gets a penalty, and he's in 3rd as well. That's not what he wanted. He now joins the list of 8 drivers now that have incurred a time penalty around Singapore tonight, and he has a massive wobble out of the final corner. It's starting to be very interesting around here. The rain's still falling down though, James, but I don't see any change in it so far. Joey in 6th now, trying to chase down Hyper, who's 8 seconds ahead of him.
Rain getting slightly heavier coming through turn 5 onto Raffles Boulevard. There's more rain on the camera lens as well. That might indicate Inters before the end of the race. This is going to be fascinating with 6 laps to go. Marcados leads the way. Yogurt in second. Yogurt now, though, is beginning now to try and close in on Marcados. It's 3.2 seconds. Gap is staying the same, but I just get that Yogurt is now beginning to get those hards into play. Those hards are clearly now coming online. Marcados is ahead of him. He's obviously wearing out those tyres now on the mediums, especially on the front right, which takes the bear load around this track. It's 3.4 seconds. I mean, the gap now pulling away again, but Marquard's leading the way. Yogurt in second, Cortez in third. There are the penalties, by the way. Everyone's strung out like a washing line at this stage. Cortez, Marlon, Hyper, Maledictus, Nuth, Will, Murdoch have all picked up 3 seconds worth of penalties. Lewis has picked up 6 and Ference has picked up 8, and he's still down in 13th position. I'm really surprised, actually, we haven't had any VSCs or safety cars so far this race either. But I said that last time, and look what happened. The safety car got deployed exactly when I said it.
Yeah, it's quite weird. But yes, no safety cars tonight. That is, there's still a possibility for the safety car to come out.
Marquard's has hit the wall! Has Marquard's hit the wall? Marquard's, I think, has hit the wall. Look at the gap, it's 2.3 seconds. Marquard's, I think, has hit the wall at a 19. I don't think he's got any damage, but it's a significant error for Marquard's, unless those hards, and now getting the second quicker. Will Murdoch's in for Inters!
What
Will Murdoch's in for Inters!
I think it's too late to say he'll be in there for a chance. Lewis is as well, but I don't see it. Yeah, it's getting heavier in Sector 3, and I think this might change the situation. It's like Lando Norris POV in that country we don't race in anymore. We can't even mention it because of what's going on. Last year, Lando Norris, of course, lost the race then and gave Hamilton his century, and now we could be seeing the same here on the streets of Singapore.
Leon saying it's going to be 50-50. I exactly agree with Leon. There is beginning to be a little bit more spray kicking up on the circuit. Marquard's again close to the wall coming out of turn 8, but leads the way still. 1.7 seconds. Yogurt hunting him down all the way to the checkered flag here. He's got to hope that a safety car doesn't come out at this point, because Yogurt is absolutely flying now. This is his debut, by the way, here tonight in PSGL F3, and he's got a real significant chance of actually taking this race win. Marquard's, though, has done an absolute sterling job out in front. I did say in the DRS train he had a lot of pace, and that's exactly what he had. He had a lot of pace. He's now shown it. The rain is getting heavier, as you mentioned, Logan, into the final sector through the bay section, but Yogurt there, still on the back. The hards are clearly coming into play. It just depends now, though, what Yogurton can do from 1.8 seconds behind. Marquard's currently holding the gap well, and look at the track coming through the final sector. This has got to be Inters, surely. This has got to be Inters. Marquard's is staying out. Marquard's is staying out. Yogurt is staying out as well. But look at coming through the hairpins, underneath the grandstand. The rain has got a lot heavier now. Onto lap 28. Enzo is completely right in terms of the weather conditions changing. Cortez is in, and this is Cortez's chance now to maybe even lead this race going on to the next lap. This is unbelievable. Marquard's leads the way. Yogurt in second, Cortez in third, Cortez is in, Marlon is in, Hyper stays out, and Joey is fighting side by side with him at the final corner on the run towards turn number 1. Joey for third, doesn't get the move done. Hyper stays in third, Joey in fourth, but look at the conditions now. It's got to be crossover either between Inters or softs, or Inters or dries. Marquard's leads the way, but still the gap's coming down, and Joey's not risking us down the inside of turn 5. What a move! What a move by Joey, as Lewis has run, he's retired in the pit lane. Joey threw these into third. What an opportunistic move that is, though. Throwing these into third. Brilliant stuff.
Sorry, it's saying many times. I'd have to mention, Cortez and Marlon half pit. I was about to say, yes, the gap now under 1 second as they make their way into the DRS zone once again. At this rate, Marquard's is going to turn into a munch bunch for Yogurt.
That's terrible one again. I'll say this though. I'll say this though. I don't think it's going to turn wet before the end of the race. I don't think it's going to turn into. I don't know. This is absolutely unbelievable. Haas has spun through the final corner. That's Rudy on a set of softs. So that's any indication. Rudy there. And I'm watching Cortez's gap. It's 12.3 seconds at the minute. 12.5. He's losing more time. It still dries out on track.
Yes, it is. Nerf right behind Maledictus. This for 8th place, I should say. 8th place coming down to the Singapore Sling. Will there be a move made here? I highly doubt it. Yep, there's no move made there. Coming to the Anderson Bridge, perhaps? I mean, we've seen it done already. We're down to 12 drivers.
Oh,
Marquard's got a penalty! Marquard's got a penalty! That is absolutely catastrophic! That might mean Yogurt could win this race! As long as he stays out, he cannot pit, because Joey is charging and he's 18 seconds ahead. He will not be pitting again for sure, unless the rain comes absolutely tumbling down. He has to stay out, and Yogurt in a prime position, but the rain is getting worse. The rain is getting worse.
Yogurt has got deep though through turn 7 into Memorial Corner, and that is exactly, if Yogurt makes more mistakes like that, Marquinhos is just going to pull away. He clips the curb though through Penang Corner at turn 8. Marquinhos leads the way. Yogurt in second. Dutch Missile, by the way, is going side by side with Hyper, and Hyper, by the way, still hasn't came into the pit lane. He needs to come into the pit lane. He's in 5th. He's on 28 lap old hards. Unbelievable. Dutch Missile in 4th, Hyper in 5th. Whatever this ending is going to be, it has been an absolute great race here in Singapore. Marquinhos leads the way. Yogurt in 2nd. Joey's catching hand over fist. He's got no chance to catch the front 2 though. And it all depends on, as Yogurt's made another mistake into 14. Yogurt's hards are now going. Marquinhos coming back into play all of a sudden. And with 2.5 laps to go, I don't know where this race is going to turn, but if Yogurt keeps on making more mistakes like this, it's Marquinhos' race to lose.
It is, but I don't think it's working out for Marlon Cortez. They haven't closed up much on Hyper, who's yet to pit, I have to mention. I think it's dry enough for Marquinhos and Yogurt to keep fighting, but Joey is cutting the gap down to 16 seconds.
Marquinhos is in! Marquinhos is in! What the hell? Marquinhos is into the pit lane!
Struggling. He's struggling to get into the pits. And he's got in, but he's gonna... What is he gonna be on? He has to be on Inter, surely.
Softs, this has to be fastest lap attempt, surely. It's
no,
Inter's! It's Inter's!
Oh my word!
I don't believe it!
Sacrificed the win to stay out, and Joey's
sacrificed the podium!
Second place.
Let alone the win, he sacrificed the podium!
Free. Will Murdoch has spun at the float section, and he's had to let through the lapped cars. He's had a horrible race tonight, let's be honest.
Oh.
Even the ghosted Retnick is out. But what were you going to say, James? The 16-second gap now separating Yogurt and Joey. Yogurt has to keep it clean. Joey is nowhere near. And Marquinhos has just sacrificed the race win, but he's going for a podium. How is Dutch Bristol doing?
He's not. He's got no chance of getting a podium. Will Murdoch is out of the race, retiring in the pit lane. Hyper, by the way, is coming out for a set of softs. That's exactly what Marquinhos should have done. Should have went on the set of softs, closed down Dutch Missile, possibly it'd be on the back of him on the final lap of the race. Rain is absolutely teeming there and out on track. It's all dependent on, though, as I get invited to a party, which is just ridiculous. That's Marquinhos in 4th. Cortez in 5th. I'm in a chat and there's another league race going on, and that's why I'm in that chat. But Marquinhos is still losing time. It's the crossover period on the final lap of the race. Yogurt leads the way. Joey in 2nd, Dutch Missile in 3rd. What I was going to say is, Marquinhos has just lost a podium, let alone a race win. He's lost a podium. There's no chance he's getting 9 seconds in the final lap of this race. And if he does, I may as well pay him 50 quid. If he does, Yogurt picks up a penalty, but to what extent? Because he's 16 seconds clear. He can pick up 10 seconds worth of penalties and still win this race.
Cut the big corner, why not? No, I won't be doing that. That would be very unsporting. But yet, all he has to do is keep it on track for one last time, and he will be tonight's winner. He needs to. He cannot give up more than 13 seconds, though, because remember he has a penalty, and it's 16 seconds. But I highly doubt that is going to happen unless he makes a catastrophic error on his final lap. But remember, he's on hard, the less grippy compound, and no grip at all. He's going to be happily heaving it down. He's going as careful as he can, and why not?
That's why Marquinhos pitted. He went in for a set of mediums. Another set of mediums, apparently, has said Lucas in the chat. That makes sense now. We were wondering why he came into the pit lane. That makes sense, complete sense now, because he's in 4th, he's lost the race win, he's lost the podium, but he had to come into the pit lane, otherwise he would have got disqualified. Same with Hyper as well, and Hyper, to be fair, is going to be going for 5th on the back of Cortez.
I don't know why he went on for mediums. He could have easily went for softs, because he didn't start on softs, of course. The gap's still 16 seconds. I think Yogurt has done enough. All he has to do is finish this.
Hyper's on the back of Cortez, running down Raffles Boulevard. Cortez is going to have to try and fight this somehow, but Hyper breezes through on the inside of turn 6 through the kink, and now in toward Memorial Corner at 7. He's through and he's into 5th and takes Candy from a baby of Cortez. Yogurt, though, through 16 and 17. He's not a baby, by the way, Cortez. I'll correct myself on that. Yogurt, though, leading the way. He has proven himself to be the best driver out on track tonight. It's as simple as that. He corrected his strategy completely. Yogurt is going to win this race. Yogurt through the final couple of corners on his race debut. Have we ever got a race debut like this in Singapore? as Yogurt comes through the final corner to win here in Singapore, and he's absolutely delighted as he comes across the line. Yogurt takes the race win. Joey is into second. Dutch Missile will finish in third, so that'll be your podium. What a podium that is as well. 3 guys, I don't think that's been on the podium all season, are on the podium. Yogurt across the line, obviously, to win. Joey in second. Dutch Missile there in third. Marcos had to come into the pit lane. It made all sense now, but he could have went to the soft compound tyres, and he probably would have got the back of Dutch Missile before the end of the race. And Marcos probably lapping that up. 4th position though for him, still at the crossover period as we come across the line. Ferrance as well as came across the line to finish in 11th. Hyper though around the final couple of corners. He's dropped off massively in the final lap. No, actually he passed Cortez, didn't he? Yeah, he's through and he's into 5th. So Hyper across the line will finish in 5th. Cortez there in 6th. And then Maron will come across the line from pole position to 7th. 7th on the grid. Strategy gone completely wrong, and the German will be ruining his luck, I am sure. Maledictus around the final corner to finish in 8th position. Nuth is going to gain 1 point on Rudy. 1 point he is going to gain as Nuth comes across the line to finish in 9th. And Rudy will finish in 10th, providing that needs penalties on. I can't look at the penalties, but Nuth, I think he only had 3 seconds. And Rudy coming around the final corner on the run to the line, be the final man to come across the line. And yeah, he had a 3-second penalty, Nuth, so Rudy goes in 10th and finishes the race with a point, at least, given that he went for an inter-stint, and unfortunately for him, didn't pay off. Joey, though, awarded Driver of the Day by the in-game fans, but for me, there's got to be only one man for Driver of the Day. It is the top step of the podium. It is Yogurt, I think, will get Driver of the Day. The Dutchman dominates in Singapore.
Yep, I hate to say this, but Yogurt has absolutely mullered the competition today.
That's the 3rd time. It's been overused, I think, in this stream.
Alright, I will get the lucky winners into the party.
Fantastic stuff, but it is Yogurt, of course. He took the race win. Remember, he was obviously replacing Grosso. Grosso out of the league. He didn't even do a race here, of course, but the SXT man, former teammates, of course, with Grosso, now takes the win on his first race here in the Aston Martin. The Dutchman takes the win in PSGL F3. And if you got the top 3, well done, because that was a really changeable race. Joey there in second. Dutch Missile, first podium of the season and 3rd. They didn't have really any entitlement to be on the podium, but look, had it their way. Strategy's got completely wrong for the majority of the field, and that's why they've ended up on the podium. 2nd and 3rd, Marcos in 4th, Hyper there in 5th, Cortez in 6th, Moron in 7th, Maledictus in 8th, Nuth in 9th, Rudy ran off the top 10. Ferrance did finish, by the way, in 11th. Rexdags AI finished in 12th. I think Will Murdoch obviously retired in the pit lane, still gets classified in the results according to our screen anyways. He's in 13th. Lewis and Dan Spring, the only 2 DNFs, if you discount Rexdags AI, of course, the only 2 DNFs out on track. No VSCs or safety cars. We had a lot of rain, but what a race that was. Yogurt takes the win. Marketos saying that he obviously finished P4 with 1 hour's worth of practice. Nice stuff.
1 hour's worth of practice and 1 hour's worth of racing. It's all equal here. So he can manage to convert it. It might have been his only practice might have been the PSGL itself. You never know. As I am adding the winners, the podium into the commentary box. Of course, the commentary box we're given is very bad. It's very run down, and we feel very claustrophobic in here. Please donate to our GoFundMe's to get us a better commentary booth. But anyways, yes, I am getting the top 3 in to the commentary box, and I cannot spell for the life of me. This is why I failed English class, because I'm Scottish.
Who are you trying to spell?
The Dutch missile. Cannot add 1 or more players.
Oh dear. Who can you not
add? It looks like Dutch Missile.
Dutch Missile. Yeah, I've just gone blue screen as well, just to try and get him in. I think he's on my friends list, so luckily for that. Yogurt is in here as well, as is Joey. So both of them are here, which is good. And I'm still on blue screen, so your voices won't be heard at the minute. But I have got Dutch Missile on my friends list, luckily. So I will be able to get him in for a podium interview for third. And we're going to have, for one of the first times, I think, all season, the top three obviously getting the interviews. But Yogurt taking the race win. The Aston Martin in the end. Very fortunate, of course, with Marcados's pit stop very late on. But Yogurt, you took the race win. First race even PSGL F3. Couldn't have gone any better than that.
Yes. Don't really know what to say, honestly. Yeah, it was
Don't know
correct strategy, luckily.
Yeah, really good strategy, and obviously, I think in terms of the rain, you got the calls absolutely spot on. I think. Just talk us through, obviously, the final couple of laps there, because Marcados's obviously pitted in for two medium compound of tyres. You were in behind him. He picked up that 3-second penalty, but it still looked like you on the set of hards were quicker than him in that latter part of the race.
Yeah, of course, because his tires were a bit old. But the entire race, I was like, shit, I'm on the wrong tires. But in the end, it worked out. So.
Worked out so definitely. Good. Yeah, worked out definitely so. And obviously, first podium, first win of the season as well. Must be really happy.
Yeah, I couldn't manage a podium in F5, but it took me one race here to win, so happy.
It's the luck you have with me and Logan in the commentary box. That's one of those. I think it's just that bounce effect that we have on new people joining, obviously, the racing. Logan, though, haven't got about you. Any questions?
How did you manage to keep that on track in the final laps? It was absolutely heaving it down.
It wasn't actually that bad.
Just
yeah, nah. I think it looked worse than it was. It was quite doable.
Yes, well, that's good to see. You must have been surprised Marcados botched his strategy. I think it was going to rain for DRS disabled, but it didn't. You must have been surprised that he didn't do the normal strategy instead of trying to go holding out for the wets to be allowed so he doesn't have to pit again. That he must have been really surprised seeing that.
Nah, actually I was I kind of forgot about the rain entirely. I was just I think if I remembered there was rain at the end, I would have gone to mediums too and made the same mistake, but luckily I was dumb enough in that situation. So.
Well, it looks like it all worked out for you on your debut. You got the full 16 points for your victory. I know it's a little late to talk about the championship, but that puts you up into, I'd have to say, around the 16th, 17th mid-pack, I have to say. So, very well done on that. And of course, you can add to that in the final 3 races at Austin, Imola, and Bahrain, which are yet to come. So, we could see more of you, and we could possibly see you advance up further in the ranks if you keep this good work up, sir.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, see.
Oh, thank you very much, and well done. Any final words, James?
Just one final question from me, Yoga. Obviously, United States next week in Austin, Texas. How do you think you're going to get on around there?
I'm actually on holiday in Greece, so I won't be there. Sorry.
It's fine. I'd rather be sunning myself in Greece anyways. We don't get a break here in the commentary box whatsoever. But yeah, go and enjoy your holiday, first and foremost. And second of all, go and enjoy your evening.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Very welcome indeed. And we'll now move on to the man who finished in second, and is Joey. And Joey, before we start, I think you have to give a shout out to Jake Humphrey, who eventually got you back into the league here in PSGL. But talk us through the race. First podium of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was honestly convinced in commentary, when you came in for that set of softs, I was convinced you were going for a set of inters. What made you sway to the set of softs? Was it just the rain not getting impacted on the track that much? Yeah, it stayed relatively dry, I think, to the end. The final 2 laps, though, the rain obviously got a lot heavier. Were you thinking you were on the wrong call for P2? Yeah, it's still secured a P2 finish, though, and congratulations, obviously, 3rd podium of the season. First one with an interview, though, which is really good, of course. Logan, any questions?
I'm honestly not sure. I've run out of questions now, but after just going through that race, it's just pretty insane. Where did you start again? I do forget a lot. Oh, I've got this on 12. That makes sense, to be fair, because you don't have to start on the worn tyres. That was a good strategy there. It's always usually works for Jarno Opmeal like it did last night. But yes, had to mention that eventually because it was, yes. Lots of comments in the chat. Well, I can't believe no one suggested any questions in the chat. I don't know why. Yes, TV Hyper says amazing debut, by the way, for Yogurt, but he's not here anymore, he's just left. Yeah, a fantastic race for you, Joey. I completely forgot that you were on the podium a couple times this season. Yeah, you were in the first 2 races this season, so it has been a while. It's good. Does it feel good to get back on the podium?
Singapore's a real track. 2 pad drives on the podium.
Yeah. It is. You now go up to 3rd place if you exclude Matthew and Cameron Dowd being promoted. You now have 58. I don't think... You could still win the title, but the chances are fading a bit. The gap now 20 points between Rudy and Nerf, and I do believe the gap would now be 24 points between you and Rudy, the championship leader, on 82 now after that horrendous mishap by Rudy, which meant he only finished in 10th place, only get 1 point. So do you still hold out for a little chance at the title, or are you just focusing on every race as they come? Bahrain. My thoughts exactly. I'm horrible on wheel at Imola. Yes. Well done, your 2nd place. You return to the podium after a long way away. Enjoy your night and have a good night.
Very welcome indeed. We'll now move on to the man, of course, finishing P3, and it's Dutch Missile. And Dutch Missile, first podium of the season, and actually first finish, I'm looking, within the top 3 all season as well. Of course, you finished 4th in, I think it was Jeddah or Austria, one of the two. I think it's Austria. I'm reading the standings there. P3 for you out on track. Talk us through it.
Yeah, first of all, thanks to all my fans tuning into the stream. Yeah, very happy with the podium. Finally, some points and a podium. Like, I haven't scored much points this season. Been really unlucky with a lot of races. So to be right on the strategy on this race is, yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah, right strategy call, obviously, throughout the race. Talk us through when, obviously, the rain started to fall. Were you indicating, obviously, you were thinking inters first, or staying out on the dries for as long as possible?
Yeah, of course. I was thinking about just staying out on the hards, and then when it started raining, I was actually really happy because the people that already pitted for like a fresh set of mediums or hards, they were already coming up behind me. So I really hoped it was gonna switch to inter weather. But yeah, it stayed dry, so I just took the risk and went for the mediums, hoping that the track would just stay dry, and yeah, worked out in the end.
Yeah, you had a few good battles as well in the middle, coming down towards turn 7. I think it was one with, I'm tempted to say, Marlon was one of them, I know that, but I'm trying to think of the other battle that you had and got overtaken. I think it was Marcadors, if I'm not mistaken. You obviously trying to force him off, I think, on the line.
I couldn't challenge them. Their tires were just their tires were really fresh. So on the old hards, I just had no pace anymore.
Yeah, that's understandable. Understandable. Certainly around here with very high tyre wear, of course, in Singapore. Logan, any questions?
Yeah, I'm trying to see what happened here. Let's see. You started up in 11th. Oh, yeah, so you also had to start the same place as Joy. So I have to mention, by the way, Yogurt going up 3 places. You went up 8 places. Joy went up 10. Yeah, Dutch Missile, man. That was a pretty insane drive, I've got to say, considering the circumstances. How did you keep it together? What were your thoughts when it was about to rain? Would you think, let's just hold out and see if it gets heavier? Or were you, because Rudy, of course, made that grave mistake. I'm sure that was coming into your mind when you're seeing how much Rudy was struggling.
Yeah, I was actually in the party with Rudy, yeah. So like he was asking, should I box? When he was out on the mediums, and like last moment I said no, stay out, and then yeah, unfortunately it was over in the pit lane, so that's really unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, I think the track was looking more wet than it actually was feeling wet.
That's what everyone was
even
saying.
in the final 2 laps, like the track was looking a lot more wet, but
yes.
Even driving, like we weren't losing any time to the inters, so it was really strange conditions today.
Yeah, it was. Well, I'm looking at your record right now. You started, had a horrendous start of the season. You didn't get points in the first 5 races. Got a
let's
fourth
not talk
place.
About that.
At Austria. Got a point at Belgium and 8th place at last race in Mexico. But your perseverance has paid off, young man. You have got your first podium this season, your 4th point finish, and you're now up to 22 points, and you overtake the likes of Denzo and Oroka, up to, I believe, I make that 13th place. So well done, young man, and I wish you the very best of luck in the rest of the season. 3 rounds left to go.
Thank you.
And James. Yep, and that finishes off the interviews for tonight. Big thank you, of course, to the top 3, to Dutch Missile, to Joey, and to Yogurt for those interviews. Really good insight by all of you, and really hope that everyone is going to enjoy the night as well. That rounds us off quite neatly, of course, with PSGL F3. PSGL F1, by the way, is ongoing at this moment in time. Luke Etheridge and Aidan Carter taking you through the action at this point, and I'm going to quickly tune in and see what is happening in terms of the actual race, if I can find the stream. I love how there's an F1 Clash advert that comes up. But Valentin apparently is looking quite good in qualifying. And Valentin, yeah, out on top. Matthew Walder second, Isma in third. There are laps 6 out of 31. Very similar conditions currently to what we had, of course, in the race here. Max Vissel and Fabi, by the way, have been into the pit lane. So they're going to be right down towards, I think, the midfield when obviously the pit stops happen. But you can watch that live and exclusive now on the PSGL channel. More action to come throughout the week. We're done for a week, and we're probably going to join Yogurt, of course, in Greece next week. So you might not see us next week. It might be a different commentary team. Thank you so much for watching, though, PSGL F3. And until next time, goodbye.
Good night.